Changes in portfolio. New tonight on Our News Live at 7. We've got a recap of Prime Minister Davis's first cabinet shuffle. We've got the full deck coming up. And the Prime Minister's pledge to reduce electricity, crime, and the cost of housing. And cases on the rise. New dengue fever stats from the Ministry of Health show cases climb to more than 50. Then in Our News at 7:30, we've got reaction to the new cabinet shuffle. Critics calling it desperate, while one union chief says he's happy. Our News Live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. The highly anticipated cabinet shuffle changing portfolios and responsibilities of 9 members of the executive. Prime Minister Philip Davis announcing the changes in a nationally televised address last evening, ending weeks of speculation about changes and reassignments within his ministerial circle. It comes just weeks before the party's 2nd anniversary in office and the October opening of Parliament. We get started tonight with a closer look at these changes. Off the top, there are 2 promotions from state ministers to substantive ministers. Jomo Campbell is moving from the Minister of State in the Ministry of Legal Affairs to the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources. Clay Sweeting goes from Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs to Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs. Alfred Sayers is leaving as Minister of Works and Utilities to take the post of Minister of Immigration and National Insurance. Embattled Immigration Minister Keith Bell is the new Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal. JoBeth Colby Davis moves from Minister of Transport and Housing to the Minister of Energy and Transport, keeping part of her previous portfolio. Pia Gloverole moves from State Minister for the Public Service to now Minister of Labor and the Public Service. Basil McIntosh goes from State Minister in the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources to now State Minister for Aviation. Zane Lightbourne goes from State Minister in the Ministry of Education to State Minister in the Ministry of Environment. And finally, Lisa Ramming moves from the State Minister for Social Services and Urban Renewal to the State Minister for Housing and Urban Renewal. Now, that cabinet shuffle wasn't the only news coming out of the Prime Minister's national address on Sunday. He's promising to address rising electricity, crime, and housing prices. Our Berthini McDermott picks up from here.
Priority number 1 in the Prime Minister's list, reducing high electricity bills, which he admits is a major pain point for everyone.
And it's no exaggeration to say that our country's never-ending problems with electricity are holding us back. This is not an area where small changes will be enough. We need to reform and transform our energy sector.
Last year, the Prime Minister warned of doubling fuel surcharges for smaller consumers, while those larger electricity users would see triple charges. But the reality for many BPL consumers this summer is tripling bills and climbing. His solution? Well, for starters, multiple solar projects for family islands.
Our goal is to transform our outdated and dysfunctional energy generation, distribution, and transmission systems across our islands, including in New Providence. It's a huge job, but we must transition to a new energy future, one which is more affordable, more reliable, and better for our environment.
JoBeth Colby Davis will now have charge of a BPL as part of the new energy ministry. Next on his agenda is housing, more so the inability of affordable housing for many Bahamians.
We've been evaluating best practices for a rent-to-own program, which I know many of you are waiting for. It's important to get it right so that the program can grow to include as many Bahamians as possible.
It was then on to crime and the promise of ongoing crime-fighting initiatives.
We are taking steps to slow the flow of illegal weapons over our borders. We are going after the gangs who recruit in our schools and are driving much of the crime in our communities. And we are working to interrupt the cycles of violence and vengeance which have grown around their activities. We have introduced saturation patrols and expanded CCTV coverage. We are revitalizing manpower and capacity, adding street lighting and cleaning up lots and removing abandoned cars.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthini McDermott.
Thanks so much for that, Berthany. And coming up at 7:30, the Free National Movement and the Coalition of Independents weighing in on the shuffle. COI liking it to shuffling a deck of Joker cards. Be sure and stay tuned for that report. There are now 52 cases of dengue fever in the country. Health officials confirming as much today in a new dengue alert. The significant jump comes 2 weeks after health officials reported 16 cases. Back in 2011, the Bahamas saw an outbreak of dengue stereotypes 1 and 2. But officials also confirming stereotype 3 this time around, which Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville says it's concerning. While fogging exercises are set to continue throughout New Providence, officials are reminding the public to do their part as well. Classic signs of dengue include fever, aches, pains, rash, and headaches. Police say they have confiscated 4 pistols, 1 shotgun, and 1 assault rifle, along with 43 rounds of ammunition in recent operations across New Providence. 2 men have since been arrested. Investigations continue. The University of the Bahamas and the BPSU putting pen to paper to finalize an industrial agreement between the two. The union is boasting about the benefits as both sides are working to do some exciting things at the university. We've got more on that in just a bit, but first, it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Megan, and a happy Monday evening, everybody. Yeah, we have some very nice conditions on the outside, and of course, we are tracking, or we will begin to track a system out there in the open Atlantic that could pose a threat for us, but we'll tell you about that later on in the newscast. But currently outside our studios, we are mostly clear and breezy. Temperatures very comfortable, 84 degrees. We haven't seen those temperatures for a long time. East-northeast winds at 12 miles per hour, and your feels like temperature is at 93 degrees. Temperatures around the island, it is very, very pleasant in Freeport. 81 degrees there, 83 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. We pick up 85s in Allenstown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros. 84 in Great Harbor Key and here in the capital, Governor's Harbor, you are 83. Central Bahamas, 85. Kemps Bay, Georgetown, you have some showers nearby. 84 in Arthurstown, Cat Island, also in Deadman's Key. Copenhagen, San Salvador, 87. And it is Southeast Bahamas where we have the stationary boundary. 85 Duncantown, Ragged Island. We pick up 84s in Delectable Bay and in Colonel Hill, Cricket Island with some showers nearby. 83 in Abrahams Bay. Providenciales, you guys are 84. And Matthewtown, Inagua, you are 86 at this hour. Satellite radar composite, we had a frontal boundary, tail of moisture that emanated from what was a dahlia, stretching across the central and northwest Bahamas. That's now down in southeast Bahamas. A couple of isolated showers associated with that boundary as it continues to dissipate. But a nice high pressure bridge is building in across the area, and that's providing us with some very comfortable temperatures and some low humidity. So it's pleasant out there, and it will continue to be that way over the next couple of days. And of course, we expect our conditions to be mainly dry. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, an historic agreement for the Grand Bahama Dock Union, now signed with the International Longshoremen's Association. We'll tell you what it means for the local community. But first, progress is being made between BPSU and the University of the Bahamas as the two signed a new industrial agreement. Members already reaping the benefits. And later, getting off the ship. British sailors in Baintown this weekend for a community cleanup when our news returns.
Collect Verse access is as easy as grab a collect, scan a collect. Open your camera app, focus on the QR code, and click the link that appears. You own your Collect Verse experience. Take selfies, join the cultural referendum, and share with your friends. See content from local chefs, Olympic athletes, and cultural icons. Collect is proud to be 50. Grab a collect, scan a collect. Get in the Collect Verse today.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Bahamas Public Services Union and the University of the Bahamas signing a new industrial agreement. Members have already started reaping the benefits of the agreement since last year, as officials say some aspects are retroactive to 2019. Acting President Janine Hodder says she's looking forward to doing exciting things with the union.
The exciting thing that we're trying to do together is, as you probably know, our march and our road to accreditation candidacy. And we are very heavily involved in meeting the needs of our university at the request of our board and of this government to actually become both nationally and internationally accredited. And for those of you who may not know a whole lot about what that means, what that really means is let's all do the things that are going to make us better for ourselves and for the country.
The agreement covers over 200 employees at the university and is set to expire in 2024. Union President Kimsley Ferguson says he's pleased with the outcome.
The benefits associated with it was the lump sum payments that do stand out. A lot of people would indicate that lump sum payment, they go away, but I want to assure persons as well that there are salary increases that are associated with it. We were able to secure a $4,000 lump sum payment, which was paid in December of 2022, and $2,000 which was paid in July of 2023.
And now to progress on another agreement, this one on Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama Dock and Allied Workers Union leaders signed a historic agreement with the International Longshoremen's Association, which is the largest union for dock workers in the United States. The ILA represents all ports from Maine to Texas, including the east coast of Canada, Puerto Rico, and now the city of Freeport. Grand Bahama Port Authority Workers Union members were at the meeting to lend their support.
The whole purpose for this is to remind the dock workers here that they are no longer isolated as an independent union here in Grand Bahama. They are part of a global network of dock workers where an injury to one is an injury to all. And we hope that by affiliating outside of the Bahamas with the rest of dock workers, we will have greater leverage in their bargaining against the global carriers that's coming into the sport.
We have to bear in mind that one thing is on the way that we are not prepared for as a country, and that is AI. Once automotive industrials comes into play, we are looking at some employees being laid off or the casual workers not being able to fulfill a paycheck from these companies. So we want to always have a good working relationship with management so both companies will be able to move very sporadically, but at the same time amicably in accordance with the union and with the company's goals that they have set out in place.
GB Dock and Allied Workers Union President Romado Cash says they now represent 230 workers from the Freeport Container Port and shared some of the challenges.
The relationship with management at the Freeport Container Port is good, but every company, you tend to butt heads. Some of the issues that we have right now in regards to is the hours. Persons are working less hours, and we're trying to see if we could negotiate and see if we could come to some agreement where we could have some hours given back to our full-time employees. We found out that you have similar issues with the other industrial sectors in regards to, let's talk about the contract workers. I think this is an area of focus that we need to address, and the only way I see this issue being addressed is we have to come together as a one team, one goal.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world. As President Putin says Russia won't renew its grain deal with Ukraine until their demands are met. And a crumbling school crisis puts the UK Prime Minister on the defense. This as 8 Guyanese schools won't reopen just yet. The Education Minister citing construction delays ahead of the new academic year. The details when our news returns.
Doctors Hospitals reimagine primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly back up your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Russian President Vladimir Putin says a landmark deal that allowed Ukraine to export grain safely through the Black Sea amid the war will not be restored until the West meets Moscow's demands on its own agricultural exports. Putin's remarks on Monday dashed hopes his talks with the Turkish president could revive the agreement, seen as vital for global food supplies, especially in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Russia refused to extend the deal in July, complaining a parallel agreement promising to remove obstacles to Russian exports of food and fertilizer hadn't been honored. And thousands of UK children will not be returning to their classrooms this week because their schools are at risk of collapse from crumbling concrete. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak insists it's not his fault that more than 150 schools were told last week, days before the start of the new school year, to shut some or all of their buildings. The buildings contain a type of lightweight, air-filled concrete widely used in construction between the 1950s and the 1960s. School leaders are now scrambling to find classroom space in nearby establishments or resorting to online instruction.
Well, of course, I know the timing is frustrating, but I want to give people a sense of the scale of what we're grappling with here. There are around 22,000 schools in England, and the important thing to know is we expect that 95% of those schools won't be impacted by this. Around 50 schools have already been mitigated, another 100 are in the process of being so, and our expectation is in a matter of weeks, the bulk of the remaining schools that will have this issue will be identified as well.
Meanwhile, tens of thousands of partygoers were still stranded this morning in the northern Nevada desert after a late summer storm turned a week-long countercultural fest, Burning Man, into a mud pit. Organizers closed the festival to vehicles after more than half an inch of rain on Friday drenched the Black Rock Desert. The annual gathering attracts nearly 80,000 artists, musicians, and activists for a mix of wilderness camping and avant-garde performances. At least one fatality has been reported at the festival, but Burning Man organizers said the death of a man in his 40s was not weather-related. And now to the region, where the crew of the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Donald Horsley has seized over 1,709 pounds of cocaine during recent operations in waters southeast of Puerto Rico. The drugs are said to be worth an estimated $19 million. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, the vessel was on patrol on August 26 when it interdicted a suspected non-compliant 46-foot go-fast vessel. The cutter crew apprehended the suspects after a high-speed chase, successfully recovering 31 bales of contraband, which had been dumped from the go-fast vessel during the pursuit. 3 male smugglers, who are Venezuelan nationals, were detained. 50 guards and 7 police officers taken hostage by inmates in 6 Ecuadorian prisons have been released. The 57 freed hostages are undergoing medical evaluation, but appear to be in good health. Officials say the kidnappings were coordinated by criminal gangs angry at attempts to curb their power. 2 car bombs that went off near police buildings in the capital, Quito, have also been blamed on the gangs. Authorities believe at least one of the incidents could be retaliation for a police search for weapons at one of the country's biggest jails. And finally, students from 8 schools across Guyana not returning to class today for the start of the new school year. In a memorandum, the country's chief education officer explained contractors at the schools were unable to complete their tasks. Officials say 7 of the 8 schools will open next week, and arrangements will be made for any instructional time lost. The education officer added that government has invested heavily in the education system as over 1,100 schools receive some level of infrastructural improvement. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was September 4th. Then in our news at 7:30, opposition critics calling the Prime Minister's cabinet shuffle a missed opportunity. Plus, dengue spreads as health officials confirm more than 50 cases. When our news returns.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly back up your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Welcome back to our news. It's time now to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was September 4th. Let's take a look. On this day in Bahamian history, in 1971, Mark Knowles was born in Nassau. Knowles is a former tennis player and winner of 3 men's doubles Grand Slam titles with Canadian Daniel Nestor in Australia 2002, US Open 2005, and Roland Garros in 2007. He also won the mixed doubles championship at Wimbledon with Anna-Lena Gronfeld of Germany in 2009. His career spanned 20 years from 1992 to 2012, and he represented the Bahamas in the Davis Cup as well as the Summer Olympic Games. Then in 2001, Joan Sawyer became the first Bahamian woman president of the Court of Appeal and served until November 26, 2010. Also in 2001, a fire engulfed the Nassau Straw Market on Bay Street, completely destroying the structure and several other surrounding buildings. The fire broke out around 3:30 p.m. in the market and spread quickly to the west on Bay Street before being contained. There were no reported injuries. Days later, Courtney Gardner was arrested and charged with 4 counts of arson. And finally, in 2015, then Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder approved the appointment of a joint provisional liquidator, granting the government's application for 3 professionals from Chris Global and Alex Partner Services UK to oversee the affairs of Bahamas. Winder said at the time, the evidence presented to the court, it was clear Bahamas was insolvent. Winder struck out the government's original winding up petition, which was filed by the Attorney General on July 16th. Bahamas filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the U.S. District of Delaware on June 29th. Off the ship and into the community, about 45 sailors from the Royal Navy's HMS Dauntless turned up bright and early Sunday morning in Baintown. Their mission? Teaming up with Lending a Hand Bahamas and the Rotary Club of East Nassau to help clean up the community, make hurricane shutters, and work with local kids on literacy skills. British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley.
Well, the Royal Navy, as the world's most successful fighting force, it just has a ship full of capability of young sailors who are strong, of engineers, of chaplains, of teachers, of leaders. And our hurricane contribution isn't just about having a ship here in case there's a hurricane. We want to put those resources to good use. And actually, so while they're here in the Bahamas, let's get them ashore. Let's do absolutely everything they can to build that partnership. As High Commissioner, I want to bring Britain and the Bahamas closer together, and the Royal Navy and their team is a great way that I can do that, a little bit of that.
And cleanup they did, with two 30-yard dumpsters showing the morning's work. HMS Dauntless sailors tell us what the day meant to them.
I know the Bahamas and the UK have got a lot of history, and I wanted to be able to give some of my time. I really enjoy being able to give something back. So that was the best thing for me.
I found it really good. We went and played football with the kids. It's just nice to just bring the communities together, just show we're all coming together. We're playing football, we're doing basketball with them. I just thought it was really nice.
Pizza and playtime. The One East Plaza saw families of all ages gather this past weekend as Little Caesars hosted a family day to celebrate the opening of their newest location. Little Caesars marketing manager Shakira McDonald explains.
At Little Caesars, we pride ourselves on being a pizza family brand. We enjoy families and we celebrate families. We look for ways to celebrate and give back to the community. And so this is one of our ways of giving back to the community, the Elizabeth Estates community, which we're proud to call our new home. This is our 5th location, and we're just excited and on a mission to bring Little Caesar pizzas to our various communities throughout the island.
And she hints that they're not done expanding yet.
And so this is our 5th stop, and we're looking forward to adding more. So out west, we're coming, but this is what we do. We bring pizza to our local communities. And so having a family event is not outside of what we would normally do.
Now to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, visit ournews.bs. That does it for Our News Live at 7. Joining us now is our Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Italia.
Yes, Megan, and thanks to Little Caesars for treating the Our News weekend team to pizza on the weekend. But a little birdie told me that someone ate all because I didn't have any.
I wonder who that could be.
But I won't call any names. I'll leave that right there. But thanks so much and great story. All right, thanks, Megan. Well, opposition critics calling the Prime Minister's cabinet shuffle a missed opportunity. Plus, dengue spreads as health officials confirm more than 50 cases. Here are your latest headlines. A cabinet shakeup first tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. After weeks of speculation, the nation's leader finally announcing major changes within his cabinet. We have the full breakdown. This is 2 opposition leaders calling the move desperate.
The Coalition of Independents and a lot of Bahamians are shocked that the Prime Minister would shuffle the same deck of cards. It was like shuffling a deck of jokers, to be honest with you.
And despite the criticism, the Public Service Union chief commending the Prime Minister for his selection of a new Minister of Labor and Public Service. Also, dengue cases on the rise again. What health officials are saying about the significant jump when Our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Collect versus access is as easy as grab a collect, scan a collect. Open your camera app, focus on the QR code, and click the link that appears. You own your collect versus experience. Take selfies, join the cultural referendum, and share with your friends. See content from local chefs, Olympic athletes, and cultural icons. Collect is proud to be 50. Grab a collect, scan a collect. Get in the collect verse today.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly backup your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us. I'm Italia Hall. The highly anticipated cabinet shuffle changing portfolios and responsibilities of 9 members of the executive. Prime Minister Philip Davis announcing the changes in a nationally televised address last evening, ending weeks of speculation about changes and reassignments within his ministerial circle. Now it comes just weeks before the party's 2nd anniversary in office and the October opening of Parliament. We get started tonight with a closer look at these changes. There are 2 promotions from state ministers to substantive ministers. Jomo Campbell is moving from the Minister of State in the Ministry of Legal Affairs to the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources. Clay Sweeting goes from Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs to Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs. Alfred Sayers is leaving as Minister of Works and Utilities to take the post of Minister of Immigration and National Insurance. In battle, Immigration Minister Keith Bell is the new Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal. Jobette Colby Davis moves from Minister of Transport and Housing to Minister of Energy and Transport, keeping part of her previous portfolio. Now Pia Glover-Roll moves from State Minister for the Public Service to now Minister of Labor and the Public Service. Basil McIntosh goes from State Minister in the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources to now State Minister for Aviation. And Zane Lightbourne goes from State Minister in the Ministry of Education to State Minister in the Ministry of Environment. And Lisa Ramming moves from State Minister for Social Services and Urban Renewal to State Minister for Housing and Urban Renewal. And as months of speculation of a cabinet shakeup now put to rest, the opposition criticizing the leadership revamp as desperate. This as the Coalition of Independents compared the shuffle to a deck of joker cards. Our Bertha McDermott reports.
Sunday's cabinet shuffle saw embattled MP Keith Bell moved from Immigration to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal, as Jobette Colby Davis was appointed the first ever Minister of Energy and retained transport in her portfolio. But Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands calling these appointments the most disappointing.
Colby Davis is well known as legal counsel to an oil drilling scam. She has been at the center of controversy and scandals at housing and transport. BPL is a disaster, so perhaps Prime Minister Davis's plan is to make it even worse. Instead of firing the embattled one-man disaster at immigration, he has been moved from immigration to housing and urban renewal to further take care of his newly minted foreign-born citizens.
Bell has recently been at the center of controversy as Minister of Immigration over his handling of work permits and citizenship. But in his national address on Sunday, the Prime Minister touted substantial accomplishments under Bell's leadership. In a statement, F&M leader Michael Pintard criticized the announcements as a desperate move and an admission of government's declining favor with the public. Meanwhile, Dr. Sands says the Prime Minister missed an opportunity to address real issues.
Like National Security Minister Monroe, who has been ineffective with near-record murders and sexual assaults, and fear of crime at an all-time high, while he continues to play the role of Minister of National Security and Defense Counsel for pedophiles. He remains in place. Fail. Education has produced the worst results in history. Yet instead of strengthening the team at education, the Prime Minister decides to weaken the leadership
Well, the Coalition of Independents is also hitting out on the shuffling of Keith Bell and Alfred Sayers. Leader Lincoln Bain says they both should have been terminated.
Keith Bell has been an abject failure at immigration. More than just being an abject failure, there's a lot of allegations that have been levied against him by persons at immigration. Alfred Sayers has been an abject failure at the Ministry of Works. Everywhere you look in the Ministry of Works, there's failure. If you look at our streets, our roads, the potholes, etc., there's complaints by Bahamians every day. BEC comes under the Ministry of Works. It's failure. Waterworks comes under the Ministry of Works. There's failure.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks for that, Berthany. Well, the Bahamas Public Services Union President Kingsley Ferguson calling the new Ministry of Labor and Public Service a good thing. It was just one of the announcements made by Prime Minister Philip Davis during his address on Sunday evening.
We see the amalgamation of labor and public service, which will put us in a very good position to ensure that whatever the issues are, we can probably do case management even before we get to conciliation.
Former State Minister Pia Glover Roll will be responsible for that post. It is a promotion for the first-time politician who has spearheaded the signing of over a dozen industrial agreements since the PLP administration took office back in 2021. Ferguson says the promotion is well-deserving.
She has been doing a tremendous job. I believe that the relationship with the Bahamas Public Services Union can be enhanced. Our initial concern there was that the information wasn't forthcoming and we were learning things in the media, and so we are of the view that that is going to be mended moving forward, and we look forward to a very good relationship with her. There are also some additional ministers who were promoted. We believe that it was well deserving, and so based on what we see, we're hopeful that this shuffle will take things to another level and that the Bahamian people can benefit from what the Prime Minister would have done.
All right, health officials revealing today that there are now 52 dengue fever cases in country. 2 weeks ago, the initial number of cases reported stood at 16. Now, back in 2011, the Bahamas saw an outbreak of serotypes 1 and 2. This time, officials have confirmation of serotype 3, which Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville says is concerning. Since then, Dr. Michael Darville revealed that fogging exercises throughout New Providence would begin, but explained the public should do their part as well. Now, classic signs of dengue include fevers, aches, pains, rash, and headaches. There's been some concerns about operations at the 8 Mile Rock Community Clinic in Grand Bahama, mainly regarding longer operating hours. Now, clinic manager nurse Michelle Wright says she's aware of the concerns, but they are trying their best to reduce wait times for patients.
I just want to reassure the community we now have a resident nurse, so she will assist us as well with after-hour calls, along with the resident doctor. They can call the clinic here at 8 Mile Rock, and then we have a security who's always on 24 hours. She would contact the nurse at the residence at the back. And then we have a number that will be published soon. That was in preparation for NHI as well.
A response coming on the sidelines of a health fair by the Kiwanis Club in Grand Bahama and the clinic manager reaffirming the clinic's commitment to the community.
We try our best. We go to the community. We do home visiting. We partnership with other organizations such as the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Social Services, the church, our community leaders as well. And we are very committed. This is the first event for myself as a clinic manager, but next year this event will even going to be bigger. And we look forward, we need the community and the community need us. So we need to forge our partnership to making sure that the community remains healthy.
All right, we're starting off the work week with extremely hot temperatures as we move closer and closer to the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. It appears as if the tropics are busy. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with a first look at weather. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Dahlia, and welcome everybody for a quick check on conditions outside our studios and around the islands on this Monday, the 4th of September. Very pleasant outside, mostly clear skies, very comfortable temperatures at 84 degrees. We haven't seen those temperatures in a long time. East-northeast winds at 12 miles per hour, a little breezy, and your field strike temperature is at 92 degrees. Satellite and radar composite, weak frontal boundary or frontal trough extending across the southeast Bahamas, providing us with some pockets of some showers and isolated thunderstorms. But high pressure is building across an area that's providing us with some very nice, comfortable conditions and temperatures. And the relative humidity is very dry, so it's very pleasant out there. Get out and enjoy. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. A look at your tropics still to come.
Still to come on Our News, cause for panic. This as a video circulating announcing an electronic travel authorization will be needed for travel into the UK. The British High Commissioner clarifies. Plus, young people will have an opportunity to show off their artistic talents through a Creative Minds local competition. Find out about the Consumer Protection Commission campaign when Our News continues.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly back up your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
A digital wallet that allows merchants and consumers to conduct transactions seamlessly on their cell phones. Our cashless solution is safe, easy, convenient, and designed to make life easier for all. And without Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, it would be impossible to do what we do every day.
I always envisioned Evolve being a cashless business long before COVID-19. Once I found Canoe, I realized they were the perfect fit for my company.
A video circulating on WhatsApp causing a bit of a panic for residents hoping to travel to the United Kingdom soon. The information announcing that an electronic travel authorization, or ETA, will be needed for traveling to the UK on or after November 15, 2023. British High Commissioner to the Bahamas, Tom Hartley, clarifying the requirements, assuring all Bahamians that, for now, this is fake news.
I've seen this video going around WhatsApp. It's not an official UK video, and although the UK is introducing an ETA scheme, the same as USA, we're not introducing it yet. It's only going to be relevant to the Middle East, Qatar initially, and then others. And it will eventually get to the Caribbean, I'm sure, but there's no plans yet, no dates, no rollout schedules.
Hartley explaining the intent behind the new requirements.
I'm hoping it'll be a bit of good news in that it'll be a relatively short online form, get news back within 24 hours. And the idea behind it in the UK is trying to combat fake documentation. So, and once that your passport is registered with the UK system, it lasts 2 years. And it means that hopefully things like people will be able to use the e-gates at Heathrow, so much quicker time to pass them through. So lots of advantages to come, but it's going to be at least 18 months, 2 years away, I expect, before anything happens.
The Consumer Protection Commission of the Ministry of Economic Affairs partnering with the Ministry of Education to launch a Creative Minds logo competition earlier this month. Executive Director Sharmi Farrington Austin says the whole objective of the competition is to bring greater public awareness of consumer protection. This as they want to redesign their logo with the help of students to ensure that consumers are properly represented.
So when persons are looking at our logo, they can immediately know that we are about consumer rights. And so we want to engage our young people. We think they are creative. We think they are innovative. We think they are very well versed with technology. And so we wanted to have them actually tell us and educate them about consumer protection. And so we're requiring them to do some research on the Consumer Protection Act so that they in turn will be educated about what it is that we do.
Now, students from all schools across the country are welcome to enter the competition until September 20th. Education Minister Gladys Hannah Martin believes this initiative will help to educate young people on the rights of consumers.
We're appreciative that you have included in the Embrace our young people so that they can be activated into this concept that as consumers in the work out there in the marketplace, that there are certain standards or rights that exist that they are able to vitiate through your department or elsewhere. So I think this is a very important intervention.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
The Bahamas Basketball Federation's held elections. John Cole Jones and the Liberty continue to run the W, and the UB Mingos cross-country team competes internationally. Don't go anywhere. Our Sports is coming up next.
And we're still keeping a close eye on the tropics. Several storms are brewing in the Atlantic. Greg is back with the details when our news continues.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly back up your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
A digital wallet that allows merchants and consumers to conduct transactions seamlessly on their cell phones. Our cashless solution is safe, easy, convenient, and designed to make life easier for all. And without Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, it would be impossible to do what we do every day.
I always envisioned Evolve being a cashless business long before COVID-19. Once I found Canoe, I realized they were the perfect fit for my company.
Today's sports update is sponsored by Michelob Ultra, distributed in the Bahamas by Jimmy's Wines and Spirits.
This is our news. Welcome back. The Bahamas Basketball Federation held their elections over the weekend, and John Paul Jones and the Liberty continue to dominate. Here's Tej Adderley with a check on sports. Tej?
Thanks, Ataya. Good evening. I'm Tej Adderley here with the new week of sports. The Bahamas Basketball Federation held its elections this past weekend. Incumbent President Eugene Horton and a slate of executives will serve a second term. Incumbent BBF President Eugene Horton was returned to office in a landslide win over the weekend. He defeated former national team standout Quinton Hall in an 18-1 victory. Horton assumed the presidency in 2021 after then-President Mario Bolag was elected to Parliament and named Minister for Sports. Under Horton's watch, the senior men's national team has become a regional powerhouse on the brink of having an opportunity to play in the 2024 Olympics. Horton hopes to build on the team's recent successes while developing the game at the junior levels for boys and girls. A big priority for Horton's administration is also out-island basketball development. Congratulations to Horton and his executives. Keeping things on the court, Jonquel Jones and the New York Liberty continued their string of dominance, winning 2 games over the weekend. Jonquel Jones and the New York Liberty continue to vanquish all competition. They played her former team, the Connecticut Sun, on Friday night, blowing them out 89-58, thanks in part to 10 points, 7 rebounds, and stifling defense from Jones. They followed up that win with an 86-69 rout of the Chicago Sky. JJ had 6 points and 8 rebounds, but she had a nifty 4 steals in that win. They're up against the Dallas Wings tomorrow night. Meanwhile, the UB track and field team recently competed in Florida. The UB track and field and cross-country team arrived in South Florida to compete in the FAU meet in Boca Raton over the weekend. Coach Andel Roll was confident about his team's performance heading into the meet.
I have a strong males cross-country team. I'm excited about them. I'm looking for them to be in the top 3 at this meet. First time since 2019 we have a females full cross-country team. I'm excited about them to see what they will do. Of course, this being their first time within 4 years. But overall, I think we should fare well.
That'll do it for sports. I'm Tej Adderley.
Hot temperatures on this Monday, but there may be some rain later on in the work week. Greg is back with your extended forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Collect verse access is as easy as grab a collect, scan a collect. Open your camera app, focus on the QR code, and click the link that appears. You own your collect verse experience. Take selfies, join the cultural referendum, and share with your friends. See content from local chefs, Olympic athletes, and cultural icons. Collect is proud to be 50. Grab a collect, scan a collect. Get in the collect verse today.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
Welcome back to our news. A sunny start to the work week following overcast skies on the weekend. Wondering how the rest of your week will pan out? Well, Greg is back with your extended forecast. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, for our final check at weather. The tropics are not as busy as it was for the last couple of days, but we are watching a couple of systems out there, a couple of tropical storms, and that's going to continue to be the trend over the next couple of days. Far eastern Atlantic, there is a very strong tropical wave that's going to be coming off the coast of Africa. We will continue to watch that one over the next several days. And there's another system in the central Atlantic, the Nash Hurricane Center, giving both of these medium to high chances for formation over the next several days. But we will watch the tropics very closely. In the northern Atlantic, tropical storm out there, and that's going to continue to move out towards the north and east and away from everybody. And then across our area, we still have that trailing moisture with, which was Dahlia, still providing us with some showers across the southeast Bahamas. But high pressure is building behind that, and we are still experiencing some swells from Adalia. What was Adalia? So hazardous beaching and boating conditions will continue over the next couple of days. Speaking of those two systems that we will continue to monitor, the first one just off the coast of Africa, which will be moving off the coast of Africa actually. That one is going to stay out in the open Atlantic, curving towards the north and away from us. But this one is the one we're going to continue to watch through September 4th through the 7th, but it is expected to get to our location sometime by the 10th to around the 14th. And all indications are the system will strengthen, possibly even to a Category 1 system by the time it gets to our neck of the woods. But we expect it to turn just before it gets to the Bahamas. But we will continue to watch that one very closely over the next couple of days as we are in the peak of the hurricane season. Boating conditions for the northwest and central Bahamas. We have a caution flag posted for you guys out there. Winds will be northeast to east at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, but they will be up to 7 feet and some northeasterly swells along Atlantic exposures. High tide will be at 12:16 in the morning. For the southeast Bahamas, caution flag for you guys down there as well, but your winds not as strong. East to southeast, 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, but up to 7 feet in northeasterly swells along Atlantic exposed shorelines. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, quiet weather with us for the next couple of days. Those temperatures will not be in the mid-90s. We're looking for some upper 80s to low 90s, and of course it's going to be very pleasant until Saturday, and then we expect some isolated showers in the forecast by the early part of next week. That's a look at our weather. Have a good night and stay safe, everybody.
All right. Thanks so much, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.